Good evening and welcome. My name is Rob Buss. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Illinois Central College. I welcome everybody here to tonight's event, our third annual Athletics Hall of Fame. I'd like to welcome everybody here for our ceremony where we'll be honoring our next three individual Hall of Famers as well as three teams. We really thank you all for being here and strive to set the tone for our athletic department of what we strive to be with our athletics today. I'd like to especially send out a thank you to all those that traveled here from very far distances. I know we had people from all over the country traveling here to be with us tonight, and we really appreciate that. It makes it very, very special for not only our inductees, but for our event. At this time, I'd like to welcome ICC's new Chief of Staff, Darrell Carter, to the podium. Mr. Carter brings over 25 years of senior leadership and experience in higher education in his new position here at ICC as Chief of Staff. Mr. Carter will oversee key areas involving institutional research, planning, accreditation, assessment, along with change and project management. Please welcome Mr. Darrell Carter.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you, and while Dr. Cork Bailey is not able to join us tonight, she sends her warmest regards and our heartfelt congratulations to the newest members of the Hall of Fame and the new inductees. She is, like I am as well, and so many others, are immensely proud of the remarkable legacy that you built here at ICC. It's an honor to stand in for her this evening as we celebrate the third class to be inducted into the ICC Athletics Hall of Fame. Tonight we recognize the incredible individuals and teams whose outstanding achievements have left a lasting mark on our college and its athletic traditions. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the members of the Board of Trustees who are here and to ask them to stand so we can celebrate them as well as we celebrate everyone else. So if you're a member of the Board of Trustees, please stand to be recognized. Let's give her a hand. Thank you. Thank you. To our inductees, I say welcome home. Your accomplishments represent the very best of ICC athletics. Through your dedication, talent, and passion, you've set a standard of excellence that continues to inspire not only our students, our student athletes, but the entire ICC community. Whether it was earning a state championship, breaking records that have stood for 40 years, or leading by example on and off the field, each of you has brought immense pride to ICC. We are grateful for your determination, your contribution to the Cougar legacy, and the inspiration you continue to provide to those who follow in your footsteps. To everyone here tonight, thank you for joining us to honor this exceptional group of individuals. Your support is a testament to the power of community and the rich history of athletic success at ICC. Now I'll turn it back over to Rob to introduce the coaches who will present our 2025 inductees, this year's A-Team of ICC Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. We are blessed to have an outstanding group of presenters for tonight's inductees. Our first presenter this evening is legendary head coach Lorraine Ramsey, who certainly needs no introduction, but I will try my best anyway. Coach Ramsey is one of the most honored and decorated individuals in ICC athletics and sports in general. She is the owner of 7 NJCAA national championships, 2 for ICC's softball, and 5 for ICC women's basketball. She began the ICC women's basketball team in 1969, followed by the ICC women's basketball team in 1970, and was the head coach of both teams until her retirement in 2003. She is the cornerstone of ICC athletics and a member of our inaugural Hall of Fame class of our Hall of Fame for the athletics. Please welcome Coach Lorraine Ramsey.
It's an honor to be able to introduce Jenny Garber tonight. Jenny played for us in 1987, 88, and 89, 2 years. First of all, I recruited her as a basketball player, and then I found out what kind of softball player I had because she came out for the team, and the 87 team that finished second in the nation, and she was picked on the first team at the national tournament, and we played a lot of games at the national tournament at second base. When she came out for the team, I had a lot of freshmen, and I didn't know who was going to play where, but I knew she was going to play from the very first night because I could see her field and throw and hit. And she came in and talked to me one day, and she said, "Can you tell me what position I'm going to play?" I said, "No, I can't, but you are going to start. I just don't know wherever it's going to make us the strongest team." So I put her at second base, and she made the all-national tournament team in the first year, playing a position that she had played shortstop and center field in high school. So that tells you what kind of player she was. And I can tell you what she could do. She could play defense like just about nobody else. And I used to pitch, and I'd get these second basemen covering on the bunt, and they'd be dropping the ball and lunging, and she didn't do things like that. We were playing in the regional tournament that year. Her greatest strength was when it was tough, she was tough. And I see one of my pictures nodding her head, yes. That's how you describe her. I can't tell you what she couldn't do because she could play defense, she could throw, she could run, she could play 6 positions, and she could hit. And we were in the last inning. We had been on the field 7 hours. We were in the losers bracket, and we had come out for the third game. We won 4-3. We never scored a lot of runs, but nobody scored against us either. We won 4-3, and we beat Wabash Valley, a very well-coached team, 1-0 in the first game. And they got a run in the first inning of the second game, and we didn't get anything. And I'm coaching third base, and our dugout's like on that side. We have 2 outs in the 7th inning. We're losing 1-0, and Melanie Maynard is up the plate, and she has 2 strikes. And I'm thinking, oh, what could I have done to get us a run? Should I have bunted or hit and run? Or that's what coaches do in close games. They think about what could I have done. If you get beat 10-0, you think, well, they're terrible. I don't care. I'm going home. And I looked at our dugout. They were all standing up, and Lynn Snook was sitting on this water cooler at the end of the dugout crying because we weren't going to be going to nationals, and Melanie Maynard doubled. Chris Revere came up, our center fielder. I had all the fast ones, and she was the fastest batting together. And she had not gotten an extra base hit all year, but she got a lot of singles, and she tripled, hit the ball over the left fielder's head. And when she got to third base, she had just tied the score, and I hugged her, and I think she was so startled by that show of positive emotion that she almost fell off the base. And that brought up Sue Morgan, and she walked. And I put the steel on, which puts Jenny in the hole because she can't swing. And Sue stole second. And one or two pitches later, Jenny hit a line drive. You could have hung the wash on it to the fence for a triple to win the game. And that's the kind of player she was. Yeah. And I played myself 22 years and coached softball 28 years. And it's the inning I remember the most in my entire life because I had us dead. And they wouldn't die on me. I call them the comeback kids. That's a term we use for our team. And she was that kind of player in basketball, too. She could shoot from out, shoot from in, drive, great on the press, and that was kind of important for us. Averaged 16, 17 points a game, would get 4 rebounds from a guard position, get 3 or 4 or 5 assists, and it wasn't against weak teams. We had a tough schedule, so she did a lot of good things. She was first team all tournament in the National Softball Tournament. She was an All-American in basketball, and she was fairly heavily recruited. And she went to Virginia Tech. For those of you who know conferences, that's in the ACC. You know, you play against teams like Duke and North Carolina and teams like that. And she went in as a junior, and Carol Alfano was the coach. I knew her. I was on one of the boards with her. And she had asked me about Jenny. She said, "What's her strength?" I said, "She can do anything." And she told me after the season, she was one of the best players she ever had come in that could score and play even better defense. And she was selected as a junior in that conference as newcomer of the year. And that's a pretty tough conference. Following her playing career, she went into coaching. She was a graduate assistant at Eastern Tennessee, was an assistant coach at Mankato State in Minnesota, and then she went to Normal West High School. And Paula Busher, who was a friend of hers through sports, went to Bradley, and she went there as her first assistant for 11 years, and then took the head job at Quincy University for 10 years. And now she's enjoying life, going home at school. She took a great school teaching job, and she gets out, you know, at 3 or 4. She teaching grade school physical education, and she found out there is another life in this world. But she was a great, great player in 2 sports, not just one sport, 2 sports. And I've only had 4 of those, and she was one of the first. Thank you.
Wow, thank you for that, Coach Ramsey. That was a lot of great memories that we had together. I am deeply honored to be here today as an inductee into the Hall of Fame and to be among this amazing group of people and athletes that are in this room with me today. There have been so many that have played in these great programs at ICC, and to be selected is a very humbling experience. Looking back, the journey has been incredible. From shooting hoops in the driveway with my brothers, to practicing softball with my dad in the backyard, to playing on the boys' team in the 5th and 6th grade because we didn't have any girls' teams. I was just very grateful for the opportunity to play on a team, and the boys' team was it. I finally was able to play on a girls' team when I got to high school, and I was so excited. During high school, I had a great opportunity, I guess I call it that, to play for my brother, Steve. He was my coach, and that was a real treat. But we definitely had our moments, but we made it through, and he really pushed me. Little did I know that later he would be an assistant coach at ICC for my sophomore season, so I got to have him as a coach again. I knew I wanted to play college basketball at a young age, and when I got to high school, I remember sitting at warming up for one of my games, and up in the stands, I look up, and there's Coach Ramsey sitting in the upper seats of the gym watching. And I was so excited to see her, but still very nervous to see her at the same time. I can't remember how I did that game, but I'm sure she could probably tell you with her great memory. I have no idea, but apparently I did all right because she ended up recruiting me, and ICC was the perfect place for me, that I was able to play both sports, and that was what I was most excited about, that I could play for this legendary coach in 2 great programs here at ICC, so close to home. I have so many fond memories here that they were the best of times. We had so much fun together. We had outstanding coaches, amazing teammates, and had the best support from the campus and in the community. I grew so much as a person and an athlete through some inspiring wins and some crushing losses. The '87 softball team, which are also Hall of Fame inductees, and many of them are here today, which was so exciting and so fun last night to get together and see everyone. As Coach Ramsey alluded to, we were the comeback kids, and I remember that so vividly, and I think I wrote a poem about it or something, but couldn't find that. But we're down to our last strike, as she told the whole story, and I was going to say that you can ask her for the details because I have no idea about that inning except that we won. And that was the best game I think I've ever lived through. I think it was an awesome game and so much fun to come up and end up winning that game. So then we were off to nationals, and I had to fly. And my teammates will attest to this. They told me many stories last night and today, and showed me even pictures that I did not want to fly. It was my first flight, and I did not want to go. I was like, and they told me that I was adamant that I was going to drive myself there to Kansas to the game. But I got on the flight, and through the help of my teammates, I made it through. I cried a little bit and read all the safety manual, but we made it. So I made it through that. The championship game was delayed because of rain, and we had to wait in the hotel, and that was another great memories and time that we had in the hotel waiting for that game to be played. Hopefully the rain would stop and the field would be ready for us to play on. And we were sitting there, and I remember Coach Ramsey coming up, "Do you want to play this game tonight?" And "Yeah, we do." And it was like midnight, and we started the game. It was a sloppy mess, but we didn't care. We were just so excited to play. I want to take this time to thank my family for all the love and years of support and sacrifices they made, driving me to games and practices, working with me and being my emotional support, and to never saying no to opportunities. I think that's a big key, is never saying no to opportunities that you have. I can't remember them missing a game. They would sit up high in the bleachers, or my dad would stand along the fence out in the outfield away from people. He didn't like to be around many people, so he out on his own. I want to definitely, obviously, thank Coach Ramsey for the opportunity to play both sports and play here for her. Thank you for your belief in me and all your support throughout my life. You instilled competitiveness, discipline, and provided me inspiration to reach all the high expectations that you had for me and all our teams. You always tell me the story of how you told my dad that you thought I was a better softball player than a basketball player, and how he didn't think he liked that he didn't like that very much. He was adamant that I was a better basketball player, but he needed a good tease, so I'm glad you did that. Thank you for the great sayings that I have used throughout my career. That was a can of corn. See the ball, catch the ball. You can't throw a BB in the ocean. And one of my all-time favorites, 4 things can happen to a long pass and 3 of them are bad. Don't ask me what the bad ones are, but it works. Oh, and thank you for nominating me for this honor. Thank you to my brother Steve for being a tough coach, especially on the defense side, and always pushing me to be better and to expand my game. I was lucky enough to be coached by him in both high school and college. And as he likes to teasingly say, he molded me and sculpted me into the person I am today. So thank you. Thank you to Ms. G for her support and the mental training and the hand-eye training that she used to do. I love that different type of training, and I was so intrigued by it. Thank you to Rudy also. I want to give a special thank to all my teammates. Many of you are here today, and I couldn't be up here without you. Thank you for pushing me and being the best teammates anyone could wish for. We were great teammates that cared about each other, supported each other to reach common goals, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to sincerely thank Rob Buss and the Hall of Fame committee for this great honor. I am truly humbled and blessed. And I also want to thank everyone here tonight celebrating and sharing this special moment with us. Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. I am truly blessed to share this night with you. I need to give Jane a special shout out. Thank you for all your coverage throughout my years. I don't know where she is. Hey, Jane. For all the coverage you gave me throughout my career and all that you have done for girls sports in our area and for all your coverage. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we end every huddle, please say it with me. ICC, yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Our next presenter tonight, I'd like to introduce our assistant men's basketball coach, Tim Sack. Coach Sack is in his second stint as an assistant coach with the ICC men's basketball program. He was a first and assistant to the late Carol Herman and now serves the same capacity for Coach Tony Weisinger. Coach Sack is currently a member of the Greater Peoria Sports Hall of Fame with 3 different teams: Bergen High School boys basketball, Illinois Central College men's basketball, and Bradley University men's basketball. Please welcome Tim Sack.
Speech up here. Where's it at here? Where's it at here, Rob? Let's see here. Bear with me here. Trying to find my speech here. Rob's there. Charles? I don't have it. Bear with me, I think I got it on my phone here. Okay, one of the greatest players in the history of men's basketball program at Illinois Central College, Charles Smith, comes from quite a list of accolades while he played for the Cougars. Named first team All-American, Arrowhead Conference, Smith holds multiple records, including career scoring record, 1,683 points, season scoring record, 849 points, career scoring average, 25.9 points per game, and career rebounding with 946, and season rebounds 561. Frankly, they're just scratching the surface of what Charles could accomplish. Charles holds 14 different records and has still stood for 40 years since he patrolling the court for the Cougars. After his time at ICC, Smith went on to play NCAA Division I Ball State, the Cardinals, where he averaged 21.1 points per game. Let's see if I can do this better. Smith started all 27 games in which he appeared in. Smith also at least the top 5 in every key offensive category for the Cardinals. Smith would go on to play professionally at Belfast, Ireland, for his legendary Cougars men's basketball lore and for accomplishments in his years beyond. Charles Smith is a member of the 2025 Illinois Central College Athletics Hall of Fame. Charles Smith. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm honored to be here, also amongst all of these other top-notch athletes that played here at ICC. They wanted to know about a success story. So my success story actually just begins at home. My parents took me everywhere I needed to go. They actually didn't know it, but most of them played good cop, bad cop. My mother would tell me that I was the best, and my father would always tell me what I did wrong. And it got to the point where I would bypass what my mother was saying, and I went to go hear what my father had to say so I can improve. But it actually all started, I'm the firstborn of my parents, and my mother's the firstborn of 11. My father's thirdborn of 15. So you know what that means. I was only about 6 or 7 years younger than my aunts and uncles. So I had to take a lot of lumps. and they were unyielding. So no matter how big they were, that the bigger they are, the harder they fall, the harder they hit, because I went down a few times. And throughout my younger years, on my mother's side, her brothers would just try and beat me at everything. I didn't care what it was. We could be playing a game of jacks. They would want to win. So I had to figure out a way to beat them. By the time I got to high school, now, I'm almost their size now, so I can handle them. So they didn't want to play me no more. So now I had to go to my father's side. And my Uncle Blaine was about 6'5", 240, played defensive end at Purdue and was drafted by Cleveland, played there, the Jets and Green Bay. Blaine had no mercy. So as I think it was to my sophomore year, we were playing out at the park, and the ball came off the rim, and I went up. Blaine didn't jump, and I caught him. So dunked right on the top of his head. I didn't brag about it. I let it go, because if I would have bragged about it, he would have caught me with one of those elbows the next time he saw me. So I just let it ride. But, I really like the way I grew up. Came from Gary, Indiana. My basketball coach was extremely hard on me at Wirt High School. And, well, he was hard on everybody. I shouldn't just say me. And you had to do two things to stay on the court with him: follow all his directions, play defense. So it was a bad thing to allow your person to score on you. So I did the best I can do at defense. Offense, I didn't mind playing against people bigger than me. It's just a matter of taking the open shots. If you were open, he didn't care if you took the shot. I ended up coming here at Illinois Central with Coach Herman, and Coach Herman gave me a lot of freedom that I wasn't used to. So, I didn't take a lot of shots. I had a pretty decent average, but he told me, well, you get the ball down there, you need to go ahead and take that shot. Don't pass it back out. It's like, well, that guy was open. Son, I want you to shoot it. Okay, so I went on ahead and took the shots. So Coach Herman he gave me the freedom and put me in that position to where I'm actually standing here today with these amount of points. The rebounds, that was my desire. I was also some extra shots. So I did my best when I was down there trying to get rebounds. Coach Herman, I couldn't really say enough good things about him. He taught me quite a few things. It wasn't just about basketball. One of the things that he taught me that I live by today is you got to be careful of who you hang around with. And I was like, well, that doesn't mean anything, because I wouldn't do anything. He looked me dead in the eye and he said, son, you'll be guilty by association. It's like, okay, that makes sense. So that's one of the things that kept me out of trouble, not just here, not just at Ball State, but in life. So, in fact, I'm a teacher at Northrop High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I tell kids, you're guilty by association. They tell me, hey, I didn't do it, I wasn't there. I was there, but I didn't do anything. The camera saw you there, so you're guilty by association. So a lot of the kids respect that, and I always tell them, my coach, he told me, son, you're guilty by association. So I'll never forget that. But my story ends right where it began, with my parents, my family who was back there. My father passed away, but my mother's still here. And just the support that they gave me, they were at every game, whether we were at home or on the road. It's the same thing at Ball State. At home, they were always there. On the road, they were always there. I always wanted to make my parents proud. There's a couple things. One thing that I say in job interviews, I never wanted to do anything to shame my father's name, and I never wanted to do anything to embarrass my mother. So those are things that I live by. And I couldn't appreciate them more. My mother told me, me and your daddy were proud, every time that, we went to go see you play. And, I can sit up here and talk all night, but they made me proud and made me want to actually play harder just because they showed up. They may have been late, but they were going to be here. So I'd really like to thank my parents and like to thank all of you for showing up tonight. And Tim, Coach Mackey was another one. I learned a lot from you as well. I still haven't had anybody tape my ankles as good as you did. So I wanted to keep this nice and short. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Charles. Our next presenter, Tracy Heffron, was a standout volleyball player here at ICC, earning first team NJCAA All-American honors for the Cougars. In her current role as the head coach of the Cougar volleyball program, she currently holds an overall record of 179 wins to 72 losses. This past fall, Tracy guided her team to the third straight Region 24 championship and the round into the national tournament where her team finished 7th overall. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Coach Tracy Heffron.
Thank you, Rob. All right, tonight I have the honor of introducing Jane Miller Sands. She was a sports writer for the Peoria Journal-Star for 33 years, from 1980 to 2013. She was a women's sports writer in an era where there weren't many female sports writers. Jane is originally from Galesburg, Illinois, where she graduated from Galesburg High School and went on to earn her degree in mass communications from Illinois State University in 1977. Go Redbirds. Jane then spent a couple of years as a reporter for a weekly newspaper, the Chillicothe Bulletin. From there, she started working for the Journal-Star at the copy desk. After 2 years, she moved to writing for the sports department, where she concentrated on high school sports and women's sports. Jane covered Illinois ICC athletics with great passion. When you would read her articles in the newspapers, the words would come alive, like you had watched the game yourself. She wrote her articles with passion, not just about stats, but with emotion and feeling. Jane would travel to many ICC national tournament appearances with the softball, basketball, and volleyball teams. That way she could be there firsthand at the games to write about the successes of the teams that they were having. She brought notoriety to ICC athletic programs with her articles. The Journal-Star was ahead of the times by allowing Jane to write for the women's sports and having so many articles written in the paper. One of her co-workers, Kurt Wessler, said, "A good reporter is a good reporter. A good writer is a good writer." Jane was both. Now I want everyone who has ever read her article or has a name written, or their name was written in an article, to raise their hand that Jane wrote. Look around. She touched many lives. During her career, she covered high school and college sports, racing, and professional bowling. That is where she met her husband, Mike. Jane also had a nationally syndicated motorsports column for 4 years. She was very well-rounded as a sports writer. Awards that Jane has earned: in 2004, she was a national finalist for the Associated Press Sports Editors Game Story Award for a Richwood girls basketball game. In 2012, she was inducted into the Illinois Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. Also in 2012, she was the honorary referee at the IHSA State Cross Country Meet. And in 2013, she retired in August from the Journal-Star, got married, and moved to Texas. What a good year for Jane, right there, 2013. Jane has touched many lives through her years as a sports writer. She brought women's athletics to life with her stories and brought stories to life in her articles. Jane, congratulations on being inducted into the 2025 Sports Hall of Fame at ICC.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Nice. Thank you. Afraid I'm gonna drop it. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Rob. Whoa, almost did. And everybody else at ICC for this incredible honor. I've always said that ICC was a family, and it feels wonderful to be officially adopted. Congratulations to all my fellow nominees: Charles, men's basketball team, Jenny, there you are. I've always admired your work ethic and talent. We've known each other for quite a long time, since her high school days. Softball teams, rain or shine, it was so much fun covering you guys. But I know we're missing someone special, and Jenny talked about her. I know Rudy could be here today. I worked at the Journal-Star for 33 years. It was the best job anyone could ever hope for. I got to meet people and cover events I never dreamed of doing. I even met my husband on the job. But on a day-to-day basis, I was always glad to see an assignment at ICC on my schedule. Going to ICC for anything, volleyball, basketball, softball, or baseball, was an education. I learned so much from watching Lorraine Ramsey and Karen Guthmiller. It was truly a learning from the best. And coming to ICC never felt like work. The competition was top-notch. The athletes were so well prepared and well coached. They were always among the best in the nation. And being in that atmosphere was just fun. Not to mention that ICC always had the best popcorn in the Peoria area, too. I have so many wonderful memories of my time covering ICC. Lots of unforgettable road trips, especially at least one rain out during softball nationals every year. And it's hard to beat Thanksgiving on the beach in Miami. But what I cherish most are the lifelong friendships with the athletes and coaches. You guys did all the work. All I had to do was watch. I want to thank my late parents, Jack and Dorothy Miller. My dad and I went to basketball games together from the time I was a little girl and started me on my journey for loving sports. I think he'd be proud of me today. My mom was so supportive and read everything I ever wrote and lived life with an adventurous spirit. I'd like to thank my bosses and coworkers at the Journal-Star for allowing me to go on all these trips. It was a good time, and a lot more staff than we have now, and unfortunately, those things would not be happening today. I can't forget to thank my husband, Mike Sands, who will be inducted in the San Antonio Bowling Hall of Fame in May. He has always been so proud that I was a female sports writer. And thanks also to my sister, Nancy McGill, for a lifetime of memories and for always being there for me. I love you both. A special thanks also to the members of the '84 volleyball team, Carla, Darby, Vicky, Gwen, Zena, and Trish, for being here, for coming back again to see me inducted. It means so much to me. Love you guys. But most of all, thank you to all the athletes and coaches I covered at this wonderful place. It was an honor to share the triumphs and the tough times with you. Your openness, honesty, and trust in me made my job so much easier, and it was my great privilege to share your stories. Thank you so much.
Our next presenter tonight is head men's basketball coach Tony Weisinger. Coach Weisinger is in his 25th year leading the men's basketball program here at ICC. During this current season, Coach Weisinger has become ICC's all-time winningest men's basketball coach with a November victory over Blackhawk College to earn his 382nd overall ICC victory, which passes inaugural Hall of Fame member and former head men's basketball coach Carol Herman. Please welcome to the stage Tony Weisinger.
It is my honor and privilege to present the 1982 men's basketball team. With that being said, I'm going to have some highlights for the team, and then after I'm finished, I will have Coach Joe Mackey come up for the team as to speak for them. Their record in the 1981-82 team was 25-12. They were the Arrowhead Conference back-to-back champions. They were the last state of Illinois junior college state champion, as they would divide the state into two regions. One was Region A, which is the Upper Illinois region, and then Region 24, which they call the Lower Illinois region. It is now Region 24 and Region 4. This team defeated Spoon River College to win the sectional title to advance to the Region 4 Elite 8 at Danville, where ICC would be seeded 6th. ICC would then take on number 3 seed Wabash Valley. After trailing by 14 points at halftime, the men's basketball team went on a scoring rout as they outscored Wabash 42-9 to defeat them 75-56 to move on. ICC would also defeat number 7 seed Elgin College 104-82, who the day before upset the number 2 seed DuPage College. ICC then would have to play their longtime rival, my longtime rival, a school that is closed now, called Lincoln College, in the championship game. Lincoln had defeated the 82 team twice, once by 3 points and once by 1 point. ICC would go on to win that game 78-70 to advance to the play-in game to go to the national tournament, which was in Hutchinson, Kansas City, against Vincennes University. ICC was the only Elite 8 team that did not at that point in time offer athletic scholarships. And they did all of this with local players. I think we should give them a round of applause for just that. That being said, I would like to introduce Coach Joe Mackey.
that's not my page. Welcome, everybody. Glad you were here to join us. We do have 3 members, though, unfortunately, have passed away. One player, Mike DiPartello. And when the team was inducted into the Peoria Area Hall of Fame in April a couple of years ago, it was in that summer the assistant coach, Mike Riley, passed away. Sorry. And then head coach Carol Herman has passed away as well. A couple of light things here about these guys. They were pretty jovial all the time, but when it come time to play, they could play. There was no messing around. They helped each other. One game that really comes to mind was in Carl Sandburg playing Coach Bill Hungate's team. We were over there, and Coach Riley set this up, which nobody knew except the players. He asked any of the players if they knew how to whistle. Well, they figured it out. One of them did. And why, when Coach Hungate would practice, and Mike Riley knew this, when he wanted to stop play and talk, he would whistle, and they would stop. So during the game, and I believe it was in the second half, you guys remember? Was it second half, somewhere along the line? Carl Sandburg is taken off on a fast break to the other end. Our whistle occurs, and they stop dead. Official stop. Hungate looks at Herman. You dirty. And Herman had no clue as to what was going on. So I think they finally figured it out. I think they just took the ball out and went on. But everybody had a pretty good laugh. But there for a couple of seconds, it was really undoubted how Coach Herman was going to take it when he turned around and looked at everybody on the bench, because nobody was saying anything at that time. The only other time, I think, and I think this was with you guys, we were playing at Triton, and the play was in front of our bench. All of a sudden, it goes to the other end. Coach takes about 1 or 2 steps towards the baseline, and the official heading the other way runs into him. And again, everybody didn't know whether to laugh or to cry or kind of waiting to see what Coach did. And I think all he said was, well, I took the charge. And then everybody kind of loosened up and, and away we went. But I don't have a list. We got a list of you guys here somewhere. Right here. Here we go. Players that were on the team, of course, Coach Herman and Coach Riley. Manager was Tim Sack. Players, Dave Benassi. Oh, thanks. Are you handing those out? Yes, I got it. Randy Bushman. Mark Cook. Jay Holloman. Randy Holzhauer. Scott Hof. Aaron Jones. Verdell Jones, represented by his brother Aaron. Tim Kinney. Tom Lowry. Gus Mason Jr. Kurt Moore. Jeff Nannon. Leroy Risby Jr. Nick Sartoris. And Dave Peoples. This is the 1982 men's basketball team.
Thank you, Coach Mackey and 1982 men's basketball team. This evening's final presenter is Coach Heather Doty. Coach Doty is currently in her 19th season as the ICC head softball coach. So far, Coach Doty has guided Cougar softball team to 512 victories, with win number 500 occurring last spring at Lincoln Land Community College. Coach Doty has taken the softball team to 10 NJCAA national tournament appearances, including 6 top 7 finishes. Coach Doty's players have always excelled in the classroom, with 95% of her players continuing on to and graduating from 4-year schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Coach Heather Doty.
Thank you, Rob. It's truly an honor to stand here before you as we celebrate 2 extraordinary teams that helped shape the legacy of our softball program, the 1987 and 1989 teams. Both of these groups made history as national runners-up, not just for their talent on the field, but their unity that they displayed as a family off the field. In both 87 and 89, these teams had a singular goal: to compete at the highest level and win a national championship. Every game was a testament to their skill, determination, and resilience. They set a standard for excellence that influenced generations of players to come after you. But what truly made these teams special wasn't their victories, it was the bond they shared. Hall of Fame inductee Jane Miller Sands wrote an article in about the 1987 team in the Journal Star about how heartbroken the team was when the season ended, not just because they lost, but because the time they spent together was so special and rare. They had an undeniable chemistry, and that connection made the journey unforgettable. They didn't just play together, they lived the game together. Many of the players went on to play at four-year schools, taking the lessons learned not just from their coaches, but from each other to new heights. But no matter where life took them, the memories of those seasons and the friendships formed remained as a reminder of what it means to truly be part of something bigger than yourself. Tonight, we celebrate not only their achievements on the field, but also the legacy of teamwork, passion, camaraderie that continues to inspire us all. Congratulations to both the 1987 and 1989 teams. Your legacy lives on, and we are so proud to honor you tonight. Please welcome to the podium Coach Lorraine Ramsey to say a few words.
Let's see. We'll take the comeback kids first, 1987. And we lost some people from that team. I'm not sure, is Scott Revere here tonight? Scott Revere? I think he was going to come and cover for Chris Revere, who passed away last year. Karen Guthmiller called me 2 days ago. Her only sister had major surgery Friday, and she's down there now in Texas. She had planned on coming. She was an excellent defensive coach, and I'm sure the girls all miss her, and I miss her too. Eleanor Rudy Rudolph, who caught for me when I pitched for the Pekinlets and was a close friend, passed away at age 93. She was our hitting coach and morale booster, really, and comedian sometimes, wasn't she, girls? And M.B. Boughton, who is our trainer, she didn't come from Hawaii. So our first player is Patty Busby Bergstrahl. Patty Busby. Patty's from Canton. We stole her from Spoon River College, and she played third base for us, and she got to sit next to Jenny Garber when she was crying on the plane going to national tournament. Carrie Calderon, I don't think she's here tonight. Dee Dee Fay, one of our two aces here. Dee Dee played at Limestone High School. We recruited almost all local people. Jenny Garber from Metamora High School. We heard about her earlier. Cindy Grebner Gorell, is she here tonight? I don't think so. Tracy Johnson. Melanie Maynard. Melanie saved us in the 7th inning. We'd been on the field for 7 hours. She had 2 strikes, and she doubled to lead off the 7th inning. Sue Morgan, she is very, very ill, and found out this week, I think it was, she's got Lou Gehrig's disease. So she's in Henderson, Nevada. Lynn Snook Lenz. Played first base for Limestone High School. And Lynn always thought, people thought she was too short to play first base, but she caught everything, so it didn't matter. Ann Trumpy, Pekin High School. I think Ann was a third baseman when we recruited her, but I made a catcher out of her, and she went to Ball State after that as a catcher also. Shelley Winkler, who went to, was it the Academy of Our Lady then, or Spalding? Shelley was a pitcher, first baseman, excellent player. Angie Wolf, and Angie Wolf came from the area up around Moline and appeared one day. I think she was looking at Western, and the Western coach had one of my farmer pitchers lead her around campus, and we got her. Becky Zussman and Jarvis and East Peoria, right? Julie Barkowiak Sawyers. Julie came to us from Nevada. She has MS, and she could play infield and outfield. And it was so good for her to see us and for us to see her. And Gina Delmont, who cannot be here, she's deceased, and she did something that no one I ever had off the field did. We played for the national championship and left the field. I think it was 2 a.m. in the morning. And we had to play Western Arizona. And the girl that pitched against us was on the Canadian national women's team. I never told them that, but she was. And we were moving the ball on her. And Melanie was on second, and somebody got a hit, and I can't believe I can't remember that, but I waved her home. She got about 2 steps off third, and the reason we were playing at this ungodly hour was it had rained, and we all had flights out the next day. The other team's coach wanted to play, and I wanted to play because we didn't want to reschedule the flights, or try to. And Melanie's foot slipped, and it slowed her down, and they just barely got her at the plate, and we lost 1-0. So I guess the fate wasn't in us that time. We lucked out maybe a couple of other times. But this was a great group to coach. They came and practiced hard every night. We were in every close game because we didn't seem to score a lot of runs, but nobody scored many against us either. So We got all the way to the national championship, and most of it was with local kids. We had no scholarships. Our 19, who did I miss? Surely I missed somebody from the 87 team. Nope, okay. Our 1989 team was one of the better hitting teams I had. They might not have been quite as good a defensive team, but they were a better hitting team. And we'll start off with our coaching staff was Karen Guthmiller, and again, she's not going to be leaving the hospital for her sister for quite some time, I don't think. Eleanor Rudy Rudolph, who's passed away. Alicia Curtis was a volunteer. She was there some of the time, and she's in Florida vacationing and decided not to come. First player, catcher Carla Best. And I got her from a local school, but I can't remember which one it was. Limestone High School. Jody Bullock, is she here today? No. LaDietrich D. Cook. Dee was a shortstop for us and our leadoff hitter. Very good ball player. And where did you go to high school?
UT, East Moline. UT.
Went to where?
United Township.
United Township in Bloomington. Heather Fenton. She was an infielder and an outfielder for us, and she came to us from a very small school, Hamilton High School. Kim Jones. She's here. Yeah, there she is. She went to Peoria Central. And she and South and three of my girls went to South Florida, and that guy ended up coaching the Olympic team. And it was a tough program, and we had people going to very good programs. Nancy Kanega Holscher. Where'd you go, Nancy? Washington High School. Chris Cale Blackburn. She went to Peoria Richwoods. Peoria Central. And I remember watching her pitch in high school, and I thought she could really throw the ball. I think she threw it faster than anybody I ever coached. So I sent her down to Eastern Illinois, where they had the ace pitcher for the Rebestos Breguets coaching, but that didn't work out too well. And the first thing that the coach did was to tell her she had to run a 6-minute mile in order to start for them. And she and I run about the same, so you could have timed her with a sundial, probably. And she came back to school, and she was just very upset. She said, "I'm not going to even get to pitch." She told me I couldn't pitch until I ran a 6-minute mile. I said, "Are you the best pitcher she's got?" She said, "Yes." I said, she'll figure out how to get out of this because you're going to be playing. And she was their ace pitcher. But Mara Rakestara, Mara, not here. Lynn Rochester, Aaron Holtz. Came from Pekin. Had probably been to lots of Let's games, right? Yeah. Julie Schraith. What high school did you? Normal Community High School. Angie Walker Rush. What high school? Illini Bluffs High School. I can't remember these places, but I got there, believe me. And Angie was a pitcher. She pitched some for us and was pretty good. And this coach calls me from Alabama, whom I didn't know, and asked me if I thought she could pitch in her program. And I said, and who do you play? And she named some schools off, and it wasn't Alabama and Virginia Tech and schools like that. So I said, she's a good pitcher. She went down there and pitched for them and met her husband there. And he came with her too tonight, so that's good. Chris Ward. Chris. What?
Joy, Chris, and Rachel. They skipped them.
Oh, yeah. Chris, I missed a few people here. Chris clued me in on this. Chris organized these kids. She sent letters out and did all kinds of things. Chris Miller, she was an outfielder, played left field or right field?
Wherever you put me, I'd play.
Okay, played in the outfield. And where'd you come from?
Brumfield, Kickapoo.
Kickapoo. We got a lot of kids from Kickapoo. They had the ball field right across from the Gillis tap there that they had, and the Gillises had 4 kids, and they all played ball, and I think they brought the rest of them in too. Joy Parlier Ledbetter. And what? That's what I thought. Limestone High School. Let's see. Annie White Nevitt, she played at Central, I know. We sent her up there to intimidate the other team. Annie was a good player. And she batted in the only run against Central Arizona in the championship game by using her head because they hit her in the helmet with the ball with the bases loaded. Am I right? And we didn't discuss this ahead of time, but I remembered it. And last but not least, two more?
Rachel Muller.
Oh, gosh, how could, who?
Rachel Muller.
Okay, and Anita. I don't know how I could leave our starting catcher, Rachel Muller, out. But I didn't make this list, so I guess I can't read plain printing because it's plain. Which high school, Rachel? Washington High School. We got a lot of players from Limestone, got a lot of players from Washington, got players from Central. Danita Williams Whiteman. Danita's used to being announced last when your name starts with a W, right? And I got you from which high school?
Beacon.
Pekin High School, okay. This team lost in the championship game to Central Arizona. They got no scholarships, no extra fees from the school. Central Arizona had starters from 6 different states. And I thought it was the best team we ever played against in the national tournament. And we were with them until about the 5th inning when the sluggers came up and scored 4 runs, and we got beat 4-1, was it? And we never embarrassed ourselves. Our effort was good, and as I told the kids in a letter, how many people do you know that played in the national championship game? And you look around at your friends, other than your teammates, of course, you look around at your friends and you don't find many. And they did it, and they did it because they loved the game and each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, but her and I are the same speed too. I got that too. I could think about it. Memories, Chris. Actually, she's probably faster than me at this point.
Thank you, Coach Ramsey, and 87 and 89 women's softball teams. Can we please give one more round of applause for all of our new Hall of Fame members of the 2025 ICC Athletic Hall of Fame. This concludes tonight's ceremony. I want to thank everyone for coming and making this very special for all of our inductees, as well as everyone here. I'd like to thank each of our presenters for tonight, the ICC Marketing Department, the ICC Administration for their continued support, our Hall of Fame committee members, our athletic department staff, and our student athletes who volunteered in various ways throughout this evening. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our athletics administrative assistant, Patty Pitcher, who works pretty much year-round on this event. With all of her work, this evening does not happen. Finally, I'd like to say thank you to each of our new Hall of Famers for everything you have done while you were here representing ICC and everything you've done for our college. We're very grateful to have you as members of our new 2025 Hall of Fame. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.